Hello, sports fans. Collin Sherwin alongside the greatest quarterback in the history of Tulane, Shaun King, now a sports talk host on the late shift at VSIN from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific, 5 nights a week, live from Circus Sports in Las Vegas. And we also brought along a friend of mine, a friend of his, and one of Shaun's former players, Stephen Bench, former quarterback at both Penn State and South Florida. He is now in the area. And if you want, these are just two of the smartest football guys I know, two of the smartest quarterbacks I know, two guys that really understand the sport on the next level. And so, you know what? We got a bowl games to preview. And I decided to just get all the boys together. With that getting started, Shaun, first of all, plug your show. Talk about what you've been doing all the time out there and what you're doing 5 nights a week at the best office. You have the best office I have ever seen in the history of the world.
I was going to say, if you have not been to the Circa in downtown Las Vegas, it has the most amazing sports book I've ever been in. So I actually work from a studio that is connected to the sports book. And I have a show on the VSIN network called The Nightcap. It's on from 7 to 10 Pacific, 10 to 1 a.m. Eastern time. You can catch a simulcast on your local sports radio, also on YouTube TV. We're on YouTube TV as well. So check it out. Me and my co-host, Tim Murray, we have a lot of fun. We're in the middle of hockey right now, so Puck Stradamus has been on fire. That's my nickname. We got bowl season coming up. We're about to jump into that, so I'm excited.
And Steve, you played for Shaun. Shaun was one of your coaches when you were at South Florida. What was his reputation as a member of the Bulls community?
Well, you know what, just to, be totally real about it, I was gone the year I think he came, right? Yep. It was my first year out, but I was still, I was around campus and stuff. And what I remember about Shaun, man, was I went up to practice one day and just say, hey, what's up to everybody? And Shaun came up immediately and knew who I was, which, is a big deal to someone like me, I guess, who a former player. And he immediately dapped me up and he was like, what's up, man? Like, just let you know, like, if you need anything, I got you. And like, man, I'm still talking about it today, right? And so that's all I needed to know about Shaun, right? And so then obviously the players I knew and everyone at USF just loves him. I know the way you talk about him, right? And so that's all I needed from there, man. He's a cool dude, and I don't know if that was a shameless plug or if he was bragging about the life he lives with the job just then, right? But that sounds nice, man. That sounds nice. He's still a cool guy. Is my point here. You feel me?
Having hung out with Shaun in Las Vegas, I've seen worse ways to live. That's all I'm saying. It's not a bad lifestyle.
He's like your smooth uncle you see once a year that comes to town from Vegas. Well,
if you're gonna leave Tampa, there are very few places you could leave and still be happy. And Vegas is.
Well, we will be rocking these lightning hats and gear all the way out to LV this week. But in the interim, let's get started. The Orange Bowl. Right now it is Georgia -8 and the total is 45. This ought to be a good one. Michigan's defense, really, really outstanding. Their ability to run the ball against, maybe the best defense we had ever seen until the SEC championship game. Shaun, what do you got here? And what do you think happens in Miami on New Year's Eve?
So I'm going Michigan money line. I think Michigan's going to win the game outright. I think Michigan is a more complete team, offense, defense, and special teams. Like, people talk about the Georgia defense, but in my opinion, Michigan played better offensive units over the course of the season than Georgia did. I think Georgia was really dominant, but they got lucky. They didn't play Texas A&M. They caught Florida when they were in shambles. If they played a Florida team from last year, I think that's a whole different type of ball game with Kyle Trask and Kadarius Toney and all those guys. So I thought they caught Florida in a good year. First time they played against a dominant, explosive offense was the SEC championship game. And we see Alabama was able to expose, some deficiencies that Georgia has. I also like the fact that Michigan's pretty salty on defense too. They have what some people think is going to be the number one pick in the draft. He finished second in the Heisman race in Aiden Hutchinson. And a Joba, I think that's how you say his name, is on the other side. He's a mid-first round pick as well. So I've said this. I think Jim Harbaugh makes it to the national title game, leaves Michigan, becomes the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. But for that to happen, Michigan has to win outright. I like them to upset Georgia.
Wow. Dropping bombs here.
Yes.
Right now at DK, Michigan plus 250 on the outright money line. Steven, are we going to be taking a trip to go see head coach Harbaugh in Shaun's suite at Allegiant Stadium sometime next season? You in on this too?
You won't catch me in any suite with a coach that wears gloves and warm-ups and stuff like that. I'm a big look. This is a homer game for me. I've known Kirby my entire life at UGA. My dad and his dad coached together. We're just family friends. He recruited me at Bama. He helped me when I transferred from Penn State. Just knowing Kirby, look, those guys are getting hell. The worst thing that could happen to those Georgia players is them losing that last game the way they did. Man, I feel bad for those kids for the next 2-3 weeks, whatever it is, right? I hate that it's an 8-point game. I would like Georgia at like 6.5 or something like that, right? So I'll take Michigan because as much as I can't stand to say it, look, they're physical. They get after it. They got a defense. They got a run game. They got a quarterback. They got everything they need. And as long as Harbaugh stays out of the way like he has all year, they're going to cover 8. The only thing is I would take Georgia money line. I will not be able to live it down if Michigan beats Georgia at all. So go Dogs, go Kirby. Either you're elite or you're not. And I don't know if Michigan and them are elite.
It's an interesting battle. I'll say that Shaun has been all over the Big Ten all season, has been riding these waves. He was first.
We've been riding Sparty together. I know that. We've been riding Sparty together.
Yes.
Sparty was good for a lot of people this year. And there were some tickets that almost hit the window that were pretty strong there. But we're going to flip it over to Dallas. Alabama, 13.5 over America's team, the Cincinnati Bearcats, minus 13.5 total, 58. Look, if Cincy keeps this close, I feel like that's a win. But can they keep it within 14? I thought this number was going to come out on the other side. I thought it'd be between 14 and 17. I'm a little surprised it got under the hook there. Steve, what do you got?
As much as I would love to take Cincy here, like my heart says Cincy, but I'm going to bet with my head here. And since just what you said, it's under 14, I'm taking Bama. Those kids don't want to deal with Saban if they lose this game either, man. I mean, that's tough. It's been a great year for Cincy. That has nothing to do with how good they are. I just don't know if they can keep up and just make it a game. If anything, I take Cincy first half, but I think Bama pulls away at the end.
Yeah, this is such a tough spot for the group of 5. They finally cracked through to the Final Four. They needed everything to go right to have it happen. They break through and they're going to get blasted in this game. And people are going to be like, see, they didn't deserve to be there in the first place. I'm going to tell you, Cincy's absolutely one of the 7 or 8 best teams in this country. Like they are, that defense is legit. They have a dynamic quarterback in 13th year Dr. Desmond Ritter, PhD, MBA. So they got plenty of guys out there, but it's just they're running into a buzzsaw here. The talent gap is too big. Shaun, I assume you're going to take Bama to win. Do you take them to cover as well?
In the words of my good friend Lee Corsos, not so fast.
Whoa!
Oh man, where's the headgear?
Hey, this is without doubt a fourth quarter game.
Wow.
And I'm not calling Cincinnati to win outright is because I think that much of Bryce Young. And he's proven time and time again, if it's a close game late in the fourth quarter, that he can make the plays to find a way to get Alabama to win. Even in Texas A&M loss, he almost did it. It was a defense that let him down. So I just think Cincinnati under Luke Fickell was built for this moment. Don't forget they played Georgia in a bowl game last year. Georgia had to come back. They kicked the field goal to win it at the end in a 24-21 victory over Cincinnati. That's the confidence that these guys needed to know that they belong, that they can play on this stage. When you look in pregame, I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between Cincinnati's defense and Bama's defense. Luke's not just recruited good players. He's recruited prototype good players. Like they're long, they're big, they can run. Ahmad Gardner, that cornerback, we're going to get a great matchup, him and Jamison Williams. Not having Mechie, I think is huge for Alabama because that's one of their accomplished, elite, pass catchers. And I think Cincy has the better run game. Jerome Ford, a kid that I did everything possible to get to come to USF out of high school, ended up going to Alabama. He then transferred from Alabama to Cincinnati after we had left USF. You don't think he's itching? 19 rushing touchdowns this year. Had a long, I think it was 60-plus yard touchdown run against Georgia in the bowl game. I just think since he's ready for this stage, this is going to be a competitive game. I definitely love Cincy to cover. If it wasn't for Bryce Young, I'd be calling for the outright upset. But this is definitely a fourth quarter game, in my opinion.
Wow,
I got a question. How many guys, and I'm not sure y'all know, how many guys are playing on this Cincinnati team in this game that played in the Georgia game earlier in 2021? I would love to know that.
I think they have, off the top of my head, I think it's 20 of the 22 are still there.
And you know what? I'm not changing my pick here, but that's a great point. They're not going to come off the bus wide-eyed at any of these guys, especially since they got up first last year, got up early, and Georgia had to come back. I'm with you. If anything, that's a very good point. They're going to look at Bama and be like, oh, we can compete here. We already did it once this year.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. One other thing to keep in mind, Bryce Young, one of the craziest stats, I think, in college football. He's going to be the 7th guy that's going to be able to vote for himself the following year for the Heisman. All of them since 2007. Tebow was the first, and he's only the 6th one since. So this underclassmen thing, it's really moved into college football. If you can walk on campus at 18, 19 years old right now, you can be a dominant player and maybe the best player in the country. All right, boys, here it is. We're gambling time. Shaun, you can actually do this. Stephen, we're in the state of Florida. That would be illegal. But if I gave you each, you can't do it here. But if I give you each $100 American, Stephen, we're going to let you go first. Give me one. If we're going to do this twice, Stephen, $100 American. You got the whole board to yourself. What are you betting?
So do you want my best pick here or my next best pick? Number one.
I want your second best pick here, and then we'll go with the first one next. Yeah.
Okay. So initially I was going to take Baylor, but I'm a big Kiffin guy, so I like Ole Miss to score there. I want Houston and Dana over Auburn. What bowl game is that? Not sure which one that is, but Houston's going to beat Auburn outright. Money line, hammer.
It's the Birmingham Bowl.
It is the Birmingham Bowl.
There you go. Auburn's driving up the street. They're probably sleeping in their dorms before the game. My other one though is going to be Utah and Cam Rising money line against Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. I think Utah wants to be there. Not that even Ohio State doesn't. Ryan Day seems to do a really good job of motivating his guys. I think Ohio State struggled this year when they get hit in the mouth. And I hate to tell you, but Cam Rising and crew are going to hit them in the mouth. And I don't think they've handled that well. It's Utah's Super Bowl, and it's just another year for Ohio State. So I'm taking Utes money line, which should get you something big too. It's like 6.5 line or something like that.
Yeah, it's a good number. That Utah team, don't tell me that's not one of the best 5 teams in the country the last 6 weeks of the season.
They're going aggressive now. They get after it.
Yeah, it is 205 on the money line right now against Ohio State. Like you said, it's a lot about motivation this time of year, and matchups and things like that. And Utah can run the ball, and that's the one thing that always seems to translate in postseason. If you can run the ball, you can run the ball.
Any quarterback named Cam Rising, I'm betting he's got my money.
So we got 2 quarterback experts on here. We got an upcoming draft now. Cam Rising, I don't believe is eligible for the 2022 draft. Give me your top 3 guys that you would take off the board in the NFL draft right now. And then I'm going to wrap this up after that with one last question. But give me your top 3 guys on the board, quarterback wise.
Man, first one that definitely comes to mind would just be Sam Howell. That kid can spin it out of North Carolina, just out of pure arm talent. And you know what? He's tough as hell. He took a beating all year this year and got up every time, no matter who was around him, right? They definitely lost some talent. I really like that kid. I don't know how he's going to translate over to the pros. And then my other one's Matt Corral, man. I love anybody that played for Kiffin. I think he's got, just kind of some something about him, right? Those would be my 2. Honestly, it's not a great year for quarterbacks. There's no one like prototype now, but for where the NFL's going, I like those guys. I think they're ball players, and I think they're tough and can lead a team.
I love Corral. I think Corral translates to the next level. I don't think you need to be a 6'5", 220-pound statue back there anymore. He's mobile enough, got a big arm, smart, quick, and afraid to get out and run. I really like Corral. That's on me. But yep. Shaun, you know more about quarterback play than I do. Who you got? Who do you think is the next? Give me your top 3 guys on this board.
I'm on the same two guys. I think I have the inverse for the order. I think Matt Corral, to me, even though Bryce Young won the Heisman, Matt Corral deserved the Heisman. They definitely deserve to get invited. I mean, without him, Ole Miss probably a 500 football team this year. And Sam Howell, I knew was talented. He really elevated in my eyes because he fought through a lot of adversity this year. I mean, they lost their entire offensive group of skill guys to the NFL.
Yeah.
And coming into the season with a lot of expectations, losing the opener to Virginia Tech, I mean, he could have very easily opted out, came up with some ankle sprain or something, but he fought. I mean, he scratched, he clawed.
He was back there getting blasted some
yes,
games, man.
Yes. Unlike Kenny Pickett, he's actually playing in the bowl game. And to me, that speaks volumes about the kind of leader he is and the mental toughness that he possesses. So those are my two guys. I think it's a huge drop-off after that. I think from a process standpoint, Malik Willis is going to continue to rise because he's just going to check off all of the boxes. But I wasn't impressed by his senior performance at Liberty, especially in the big games, Syracuse, Ole Miss. I don't think he played great. And then Kenny Pickett, people are going to be on him. I'm not a Kenny Pickett fan. He wouldn't be on my board if I was a GM. I don't think he has the intangibles to help us be successful at the NFL level.
Gotcha. So let's go to the last question. Shaun, you were the number one recruiter in the state of Florida, I believe. We're named the number one college football recruiter in the state. In the conference by Bulls 24/7, the number one recruiter. I got a kid here from South Georgia, quarterback, dual threat, got some wheels on him. Sneaky fast, I believe, is the term that they get used around these kids, whether that's appropriate or not.
Grit,
a lot of grit, a lot of sneaky fast. He's more athletic than you think. Just can't have anything to do with what he looks like, but just more athletic than you think. Shaun, you're walking into a living room in Georgia. What are you saying to this kid trying to get him to come to your school?
Well, I'm going to tell him the two things I can guarantee you. He's going to get better, and I'm going to play the best play. And I think a real competitor, that's all you can ask for. I'm going to help you develop as a player, as a person, as a quarterback, and I'm going to play the best player. If that's you, you're going to play. If that's not you, then I'm going to continually explain where you have to get better, where you're deficient. How do you close this gap? Sometimes it might be you're just sitting behind a transcendent special talent. But your job is to, when your opportunity comes, be ready. And I'll make sure that happens. And, man, we love to have you. If you decide to go somewhere else, I'm going to be your biggest fan. But if you're really interested in becoming the best version of you possible, there's no better place.
Steve, it is now the era of NIL. You are the recruit in that living room in Georgia. What are you asking Shaun as we head forward in 2000?
NIL, I almost, if I'm a recruit nowadays, man, it'd be so tough not to be, it's almost like a job interview. First question, how much can I get paid, right? That's honestly, I'm not going to say that's all anyone's into it for, right? But look, a pitch like that, I mean, again, like we hinted at the beginning of the show, playing the best guy doesn't always happen, right? And so finding somebody whether it's a coach or, coaching staff, whatever it is, finding somebody that will say that to you and that you trust to hold up their end, that's tough, man. And honestly, like I said, from the second me and Coach King met, he immediately showed me love and was like, hey, if you need anything, I got you. And like I said, it speaks volumes. So looking back on it, I'll trust Coach King to get me a nice NIL deal. We don't even got to go over that right now.
Yeah. And my response for the NIL question would always be, well, how good are you going to be?
Yeah, like that stuff kind of takes care of itself.
Money.
Yeah.
It's plenty of money in Tampa. And now the NCAA has decided that if people want to use your name, image, likeness, you can get compensated for it. So if you come and do what I think you're capable of doing, then why would I limit you by putting a number on how much you're going to get when you're here?
That's it right there. That's somebody that was highly recruited right there.
Gibbs High School, straight out. Imagine this guy going to New Orleans and having an undefeated season when Tulane was running the city. You would have gotten the bag, Shaun. Not that you were ever paying for a drink at the boot anyway, but I think you'd have been doing all right.
Yeah, I hope these kids don't lose sight of what the real priority is. That short-term success, influx of cash, you're going there to get an education, to become the best football player you can be. Like any kids that are listening and looking at this, that's a short window you have. Go there and focus on being the best version of you possible. Because I promise, if you can make it to that next level, there's way more cash up there than the little side deals you're gonna be getting for some free shoes and a free meal. While you're in college.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I think that's a great pitch, right? Like, one, it's just about how good you're going to be. And then two is really, it's way bigger than the NIL deal. You should be planning on making a lot more money than whatever that's going to be.
Spoken like a guy with an NFL pension, though. I'm just saying. All right, boys. We are going to let it go. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it. We'll see if we can get this back together one more time before the bowl game start, maybe before the national championship. But this was fun. And I think having smart guys who really understand football, especially offensive football, I think makes this for great content. We will see you on the other side. Enjoy the ball games. Man.